Hey, how's it going? It's Friday night, March 19th, and it's me, Mark D, for my daily stream for 75 Hard. Just going to check to see if it's working. Looks like it is. Here we go. Perfect. Welcome. Thought I'd try something a little bit different because I already did both my exercises today, and I'm not on the street. I'm not doing a live broadcast. And also, I've got a quiet house to myself. The family's gone up north for a day. And I wanted to review the first section of the 15 commitments of a conscious leader, or of conscious leadership. And this is a book I've been reading. It's part of the 75 Hard Challenge. Bunch of tasks we have to do each day, and one of them is reading 10 pages or 15 minutes, depending on where you look or who you ask what the different tasks are. So I'm just gonna take that and review it. This book has been awesome. It's really resonating with me. Excuse me. And so I just wanted to share it a little bit. I'm just going to turn my gain down here a little bit and turn myself down a bit. There you go. And so I hope you're having a really great night, and I hope you've had a great week. And coming up, there's a weekend. Some of you work through the weekend. For some of you, the weekends don't change a thing. Other of you, look forward to each weekend as it comes. I saw a Facebook story today where one of my friends had a glass of wine and asked the audience, who else is hiding in your closet from your family? So if you're having that kind of week, my love goes out to you too. I know it was just a joke and a jest. I think I read a stat recently about parents and hiding in the bathroom. It's like a copious amount of time spent in the washroom hiding from kids. Anyway, I hope you don't feel like you need to hide from the people in your house, but if you do, it's understandable. We've been stuck inside for a long time. Get outside, get walking around. It's raining again tonight. I got soaked. I had to wear my old shoes, which felt good on the heels, but not good on the knees. So tonight we're going to be reviewing leading 15 commitments of conscious leadership. And essentially the first chapter is reviewing what the book's concept is about. So I'm going to do the first chapter tonight, and I'm going to try twice a week to do an update on the chapters that I read and what I think about them, how I apply them, some of the practices from the book itself. And hope you enjoy. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. My personal Facebook is the only place that I can't see chats from in this app. So if you'd like, you can go to Positive Insight, which is essentially facebook.com/positive insight with a CITE. And if you give me chats in the comments there, I'll be able to comment on them. So otherwise, I will try to get to questions later on. Thanks for those of you who are tuning in. There's already 3 of you watching. That's great. Feels good. All right, so let's get to it here. I'm going to just review the first chapter of this book, 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, a New Paradigm for Sustainable Success. And this is specifically about leadership and people in leadership roles, people acting in leadership. As I'm reading it, I am remembering that leadership is about self-leadership. It is about the way you lead yourself in general. It doesn't have to be in a position where you're actually leading a group or other people. It is the way you lead your life. And I really, truly believe that. And I think that's super important to remember while we review this, because I'll be honest, a lot of the things I'm reading are things that my partner and I talk about, things that she's a counselor and she's taking training in a specific, a specific practice for counseling called Bowen theory. And there's a lot of similarities in this is just chapter 1, but in chapter 3, we get into some thoughts around feelings and emotions, a lot of similarities around that. So this stuff's really applicable to all parts of life, and I think it's really important to share. And I'm really excited to kind of continue practicing, continue being able to do this. So that's really important for me to share with you guys. So hope you enjoy. So essentially, this is written by these people here. Jim Detmer, Diana Chapman, and Kaylee Warner-Klemp. Thank you to them for sharing all this. They're very open and about their life experiences and how they got to where they're going on this. And their main metaphor or example is the line. So leading from above the line, and literally in the book, there's just big black lines drawn in many different parts of the book. Every once in a while, they'll just remind you. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's doing the funky thing. Okay, there you can see the line right there. So yeah, so it's everywhere throughout the book, and I really like this metaphor about leading above or below the line. I've talked about in one of the other streams I was doing, and essentially for me, what I always believe is that you're either leading from a place of fear or leading from a place of love, and I think it's a really great metaphor to talk about above and below the line. And it's also okay to be in either place, because every person finds themselves in either state at any given moment. And one of the things they really emphasize is that if you find yourself below the line, self-awareness and the ability to acknowledge it and then shift it is really important. So we'll talk a little bit about what leading from above the line is tonight. And essentially, leadership that operates in one of these two places, above the line or below the line. And people who are above the line, of this website here, you'll see, first talks about leaders who are below the line, their primary commitments. So this is what they're kind of subconsciously dedicating themselves. It's to being right. And when they're above the line, their primary commitment is to learning. So it's a place of curiosity. What can the experience teach us? And right off the bat, the first thing in this book, I absolutely have a challenge with a commitment to being right. Pretty much anyone will tell you that. Hopefully my partner's not watching. She's going to be like, I told you so, but she's right. And I know I do. And that's one of the reasons that this book's been so great for me. Anyone else here have that challenge? Or maybe not all the time, maybe in any given moment. So another thing that they cover in this chapter is a couple of different things about being above the line or below the line. So above the line leadership is open, curious, and committed to learning. And below the line leadership is closed off, defensive, and committed to being right. So that's a little bit of an elaboration on those points for there. Leading from below the line is not wrong. It's a common state. So it's I was mentioning a little bit earlier. It's not that we think less of those people, or it's forbidden to be in that state. That's a natural place for humans to go. When we're in that state, that's part of our kind of primal nature. It's that fear or flight, fight or flight kind of reaction, and it comes from a place of fear. So that's what I was talking about. Below the line is a place of fear, and above the line is a place of love. So the first mark of conscious leadership is self-awareness and the ability to tell themselves the truth. So you have to be able to say, yeah, it seems like I'm pretty committed to being right now. So that's the first step to making that improvement, or changing that improvement. And as a regular practice, conscious leaders notice when they're below the line, and they choose to shift above the line. So in the coming chapters, they talk about different ways to do that. Some of the ones we probably know about already are meditation, deep breathing. There's some really great stuff in the third chapter around feelings around your body, and acknowledging the feelings, physical feelings you're having in your body, your neck, your stomach, your erogenous zone, even your hands, and kind of being able to associate those feelings with the physical feelings, with what might be going on inside of you. And then those are triggers for helping you get out of the place. So as I said, the conscious leaders, they notice this, and they're able to make that shift from below the line to above the line. Shifting is moving from closed to open, and from defensive to curious, and from wanting to be right to wanting to learn. So those are examples of moving below to above. And you're also moving from fighting for survival for your ego, and leading from a place of security and trust. So a lot of great stuff here. These are the roots of a lot of good conversations and what are important for people both in supervisory and managerial positions, but also in conversations with your partner or your kids or just everyday conversations. And some of you might be good at it all time, and some of you might find yourself better at it in some different situations than you are in other situations. And so when we find that, we really want to be able to pinpoint that. And when you can pinpoint it, that's essentially when you can make that shift. So we often describe unconscious leaders as reactive. I'm sure everybody's experienced a boss who was reactive. That makes things pretty difficult. And there's some great conversation in the book later about how you can interact with people like that. And as a leader, you might also need to engage with someone who's having challenges with their own self-leadership. And that's a really great conversation we'll get into in the future. And another thing is there's these 4 states. So I mentioned them in another live I did earlier this week. They're not stages of development. They're not linear necessarily. You may be in one of the states at any particular time, but you can bounce around from one state to the other, maybe even in a moment, but also from situation to situation. So that's pretty cool thing to think about, because often with these personal development things or things that we're trying to kind of talk about what improves us, we think about it as like some sort of linear thing or a thing that you're able to move towards. Well, this is what you want to do is you want to move towards more regularly being in an above the line state. But no one expects anyone to be there all the time. So here are the 4 different states. To me, which is considered to be a below the line state. This is it's happening to me. We call this the to me mindset, which is a victim consciousness. And those operating in the to me victim consciousness are constantly looking to the past to assign blame for what's currently happening in their experience. The by me state, so this is by me leadership, it chooses to see that everything in the world is unfolding perfectly for their learning and development. Nothing has to be different. It's what it is what it is. And actually, coincidentally, my one of my new kind of slogans or mottos at work, mantras, is it is what it is. And that kind of allows me to give it space to think about it instead of be like, oh crap, this thing's happening again, or wow, I can't believe this is happening too. And it's been working really well. I often get a chuckle because when I say it sometimes to somebody in a situation, I'll say, well, it is what it is. Usually they're engaging in a conversation about that topic. So they're looking for some sort of response or some sort of feedback or input. But what I'm actually doing is taking a moment to think about it. I don't mean it is what it is and let's walk away. But it's meant to give pause. So it's really great that I connected with this concept that's in the book here with this. Nothing has to be different. See that what is happening is for them. And able to do that, a leader chooses curiosity and learning over defensiveness and being right. 2 cornerstones of the to me consciousness. So getting over different to me consciousnesses. Yeah. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? The by me leader asks questions like, what can I learn from this? How is this situation for me? How am I creating this? And also, how am I keeping it going? So some really great questions and good concepts to think about when you're moving in state to state. So if you can identify one of these states that you're in, then that's your first step. There's also the through me consciousness. So the key to the through me leader is notice that something is beyond themselves. As leaders open up to the through me, their purpose questions change. So they'll ask something like, what is life's highest idea of itself that wants to manifest in and through me? So this is sort of like a little more visionary and looking at situations and problems, or they're not even problems when you're in this state. They're just something that is evolving from you, or evolving as you facilitate it. And it might just not be you, it might be others as well. And so it blooms, I guess, is kind of a nice way to think about that. And finally, this one, I'm not sure I quite get it. So I'm just going to read what it says here. The ASME, I'm still learning, so I'm going to get there too. And when I figure it out, I'm going to help others figure it out. But maybe some of you are already living this, and that's excellent. I know you are, because I know some amazing leaders. ASME consciousness has two aspects. The first is oneness. So that I can kind of conceive. The second aspect of the ASME is the absence of a personal me. So I'm an ego head. I'm working out of that. I'm doing my best to try to let go of ego, let go of things that have hurt me in the past, let go of things that just affect me in a way that make me want to have more control, or just hang on to something that's like very specific to me. I don't even know what it is sometimes. And so that absence of the personal me is really important in that situation. Yeah, so that's essentially the first chapter of the book, and it's a recap of what the book's about and what it means. And as I said, in the second chapter, we talk about the first commitment. So commitment 1 is taking radical responsibility. Next time I come on air, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Help me through this by making comments. Anything you hear that I've said, please throw in the comments, which you guys folks have been really good at putting out ideas that helps me think about what I'm talking about, which is really good, because it helps me understand either what I've said that I would have liked to say differently, or what I can learn from what I said, or how someone else sees it. And so I thank you for that. So I really appreciate that. We're going to talk about taking radical responsibility next time. And if you check out the link in the information of this video, I've been listening to this DJ Everett. He's been awesome, playing some Latino, funky, reggaeton, old school electro mix all night long. It's been really great. Hopefully he's still playing when I get off here. I'm going to go back and listen for a little while I do some other work. It's been great. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this, and I'll see you next time. Mark D on day 19, which I didn't even talk about. I'll talk about changes tomorrow and what I'm going through. Because of this challenge, it's getting real. I love you. Stigs, just remember, have a great Friday night or Saturday morning.